right, so breaking news. Come to find out that from a report from CNBC, Bloomberg, and a couple actual official sources, that, yeah, they're looking to actually, or Discovery is looking to actually sell off assets. They didn't buy Warner Media to try to build it, to save it, to do this. They bought Warner Media as an investment. They're going to probably pick and choose what they want, and then they're going to sell the rest. And this means that properties like DC themselves might be going to one of those big three. And the big three is Amazon, Netflix, and Disney. Whew. Now, Variety has done an article, as I've done some research, talking about how their sources that they've spoken to Warner has been saying that Warner Brothers has been losing money technically since 2010, I think it is. So with that, they're pretty much getting into the position that Fox was. They were just losing and losing money. And yeah, we might be seeing the DC Universe brought to you by Disney. We might be seeing the Marvel Universe and DC Comics and Marvel Comics become one. That's where the crossovers would be. That's, where they could do a bunch of things, and lots of people are going to do it. So people got to step up and perform, because they got to basically make themselves valuable to be with the new big company. So how can DC, brought to you by Disney, brought to you DC Comics, presented by Marvel, how could this possibly happen? Well, simple. When they do these bids and they start to sell off, they're going to do exactly what they did with Fox. They're going to start breaking down assets, WB Games, Warner Media, like other stuff, channels that are owned by Warner, like TNT and... No, that's Ted Turner. Basically, they have channels, they have CNN, all that stuff like that, right? So for them to avoid to becoming a monopoly, what'll basically happen is that they're going to start cutting off, saying, all right, I want to buy this. Nah, the government is going to be like, wait a minute, no. So then they'll be like, all right, cut that away. Just like they did with Fox, cut this away. No. But I am strongly believing that Disney is going to try to acquire DC. And they're going to be like, we're zeroing in, we're taking over, here you go. And because they're the ones that do comic books. Now, Netflix they got Mark Millar, and he does comic books like, he just came out with Jupiter's Legacy. He has more product apparently coming for them. So, and he's going to be creating original content for them too. So they are semi in the comic book business. Amazon, they could, but Amazon has been having a lot of success with the more independent comics like Invincible, The Boys, and even The Tick had a little bit of success, and they're probably going to be doing more. But DC as a property is just a big thing for streaming, though, because that's all the CW stuff. Netflix already does a lot of the CW stuff, so they're probably going to be interested. Disney is going to want those comics. And if Disney's going to want those comics, Disney's not going to want to have what they're dealing with Sony and what they're dealing with Universal right now. They're going to want to just own it. They're going to want the comic books. They're going to want the content. They're going to want the movies. They're going to want all of it. So me and my friend used to joke at everyone every time something was going, we're like, give it back to Marvel. Give it back to Marvel. It didn't matter what it was. It'd be like, Hellboy, give it back to Marvel. Because people always said anything, no matter how good it was or what, they're like, just give it back to Marvel. It would just be better if it was with Marvel. Well, now the joke we used to say about DC. Well, now the joke seems like it may be a reality. And I've been saying this for a while, that they're going to sell that company and those characters are going to get broken up and possible. And everybody, like a lot of people were like, you're wrong, you're lying. DC's fine. The whole Warner Media thing's fine. Everything is fine. What are you talking about? Comic sales are through the roof. They've been the best they've been for years. Are they though? Because from what I'm seeing, I don't know what this means. Like, if Netflix get them, okay. Amazon gets them. Amazon, does their thing. I think they do pretty good. I don't know what this means for the DC Extended Universe, but then again, when you make decisions like not restoring the Snyderverse and instead want to make black Clark Kent instead of using the actual Supermen that are black, those kind of decisions are what bring you to this point. Those kind of bad decision making. Just that. These kind of bonehead decisions when they're doing DC, when they're doing all of this stuff, these types of comics. See, Marvel has a special thing. Disney is a money making machine because they don't just need entertainment. They have their parks, they have everything. So Disney, the movies, but they make most of their money during the parks and everything. So they're constantly having a revenue stream. So it doesn't matter if the Marvel comics are blowing it out the water or not. But when it comes to DC, it's not the same. They're more of an entertainment place and stuff. And Warner, basically Warner as a whole. So now we are at this point. There is a possibility that DC will be owned by Marvel, and Marvel will own, I would say between the two of them, they were well over 50%. I think they were like 60 something percent of the comic book industry, or almost 70. And the way they can avoid the whole thing is they're not 100%. They're not also producing. They just will own the biggest portion of it. Now, if I think of Disney, they're going to easily get rid of CNN because they already have their own news stuff. Like, they got ABC News and all that. So, and CNN's a big thing. So, CNN will probably shoot off somewhere else. They're probably they want that IP. Can you imagine MCU now? If they have, and I'm not saying this in an exciting way, I want them separated. I want someone to challenge DC comic or challenge Marvel, and DC would be the one to do it. So don't get it twisted, but they're probably going to have an MCU movie where the universes will cross over if they get their hands on all of the DC stuff. So some people are like, great, this is awesome. I want Marvel to do it because Marvel, I like the comics, I like this. And if you do, great. Me, I'm not feeling this. I would like for Netflix or Amazon, and especially Netflix, and to really push and get the right writers and stuff to do this. But then again, the only one that really does comic books on a regular basis, there's Netflix comics. And the fact that I have to tell you, probably should tell you everything you need to know about that. And Amazon doesn't produce comics. So the only one that's going to be able to keep producing comics in the business as a regular is going to be Marvel. And Kevin Feige, I guarantee you, Kevin Feige's ears are perking up. I guarantee it. But hey, and this is from CNBC. I've seen on Variety. I've seen on multiple news things. This is huge. We're going to know the world's about to change. That one of the biggest ever, Warner Media, one of the biggest movie studios, one of the biggest studios ever, is about to get absorbed into either Disney, Amazon, or Netflix, unless Comcast comes up in there. But they're looking, from what I've read, it looks like their Discovery is looking to sell to one of those three. And you got an IP farm, you got Batman, you got everybody, you got something popping right then and there. So I would love to hear you guys' comments and what you all feel, what you think, what you see, what you know. Like, what do you feel about this? I don't know if I like the idea of one company ruling that much IP, that much important IP. Now, what I would think would be awesome, that's not happening, but wouldn't it be cool if like Image Comics came in and said, we're going to fight for DC, but the problem is they don't got Disney money. And pretty much Kevin Feige has proven that he is a cash cow when it comes to Disney. So Disney got deep pockets, Netflix got deep pockets, and Amazon got deep pockets. So if any one of them is interested, it's going to be a war, just like we saw with the Fox thing. Except, imagine if only one or two. I guarantee Disney is interested. I guarantee it that Disney is interested in this, specifically because of Kevin Feige. It's not even Disney's company, because Kevin Feige is going to look and be like, we could have the DC characters. I can do a bunch of things with that. I can make movies around that. I can do comic books around that. I can run this and do that. So I'm going to say, I said 5 years, but probably by next year, we're going to start knowing what's going on. Probably between now and 5 years. So 3 to 5 years, DC and Warner is going to be under a new umbrella. Like I said, I want to hear what you guys think. This is Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real, and I'll see ya.